A mysterious beacon, nestled deep within the dull expanse, an uncharted sector on the fringes of the Milky Way. A peculiar signal pulsed through the cosmic static. Its rhythmic cadence, unlike anything on record, immediately caught the attention of astronomers at the Tycho observation outpost. "What do you make of it, Stella?" asked Jameson, the lead researcher, as he studied the oscillating waveform on the holoscreen. Stella, an expert in xenolinguistics, furrowed her brow. "It's not like any natural phenomenon I've seen. The pattern is too deliberate, almost like a beacon." As word of the anomaly spread, speculation ran rampant. Some dismissed it as an echoing remnant of the Big Bang. Others whispered of a long-lost Terran colony ship. But a growing contingent dared to utter the unthinkable. Could this be evidence of an extraterrestrial intelligence? Governments convened emergency sessions as scientists worked feverishly to pinpoint the source. The signal originated from a distant star system, previously deemed unremarkable. Telescopes swiveled to focus on the coordinates as humanity collectively held its breath. "There!" exclaimed Stella, enhancing a grainy image. "That's no natural satellite." Jameson leaned in, his eyes widening. Orbiting the system's third planet was a colossal structure, dwarfing anything made by human hands. Its alien geometry gleamed against the void, transmitting its siren song into the depths of space. In that moment, everything changed. Humanity had always suspected, or perhaps hoped, that it was not alone in the universe. Now they had proof, and it was calling to them. As the news spread like wildfire, world leaders huddled to devise a response. Some urged caution, fearing the intentions of an unknown species, but a vocal group argued that this represented an unprecedented opportunity, a chance to transcend humanity's squabbles and reach for something greater. The decision was made. A message would be sent, an interstellar hand extended in friendship. Using an array of linked radio telescopes, Earth beamed a reply towards the enigmatic beacon. It contained mathematical proofs, musical overtures, and most importantly, an invitation to open a dialogue. And then the waiting began. Days turned to weeks as humanity's collective gaze remained fixed on the stars. The world held its breath, simultaneously anxious and hopeful for what the future might hold. Would their cosmic neighbors reply in kind, or had they stumbled into something beyond their comprehension? Only time would tell, as a new chapter in human history began to unfold. Part 2 is on its way. Let me know if you have any other thoughts or feedback. Deciphering the cosmic riddle. The world rejoiced when the reply came. A mere 93 hours later, telescopes captured the moment the alien structure flared brilliantly, acknowledging Earth's transmission. But elation quickly gave way to puzzlement as the response reached listening posts worldwide. Instead of a straightforward message, Earth received a complex data burst, layered with dense information in an unknown format. Stella and her team at the Tycho outpost worked around the clock, trying to decipher the alien code. "It's like a puzzle," Stella mused, dark circles under her eyes from countless sleepless nights. "Each time we think we found a pattern, it shifts into something new." Weeks turned to months as the world's greatest minds collaborated on the cosmic riddle. Cryptographers, mathematicians, and linguists pored over the data, seeking the key to unlock its secrets. But the answer remained maddeningly out of reach. Late one evening, as Stella stared blearily at her screens, a sudden realization hit her. The message wasn't meant to be decoded. It was a test. The aliens were gauging humanity's intelligence, challenging them to prove their worth as galactic neighbors. With renewed determination, Stella rallied the global scientific community. They attacked the problem from every angle, employing cutting-edge AI and quantum computing. Slowly but surely, pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. And then, a breakthrough. A hidden pattern emerged, revealing a series of coordinates deep in uncharted space. Alongside them was a simple, urgent phrase: "Help us." The message sparked frenzied debate. Some argued it was a trap, a ploy to lure humanity into the unknown. But others saw it as a plea from a civilization in crisis, one that had reached out to Earth in desperation. In the end, the decision was made. The coordinates were too precise, the message too dire to ignore. If an intelligent species was in trouble, humanity had a moral obligation to respond. Plans were quickly drawn up for a mission unlike any before. A ship would be built, crewed by the best and brightest from around the world. Using the alien beacon as a guide, they would journey to the source of the message, ready to offer aid and forge an unprecedented alliance. But even as preparations began, questions loomed. What awaited them in the depths of space? And was humanity truly ready for what they might find? As the ship took shape in orbit, its gleaming hull a testament to human ingenuity, the crew prepared themselves for the greatest adventure in history. They would be ambassadors, explorers, and perhaps even saviors, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire planet on their shoulders. The journey ahead would test them in ways they could scarcely imagine, pushing the limits of their courage and resolve. But armed with the knowledge that they were part of something greater, they stood ready to face whatever lay beyond the stars. For the first time, humanity would reach out not as a fractured collection of nations, but as a united force, bound by the spirit of discovery and compassion. And in doing so, they would learn that the true strength of their species lay not in conquest, but in the unwavering determination to lend a helping hand, even in the face of the unknown. Part 3 coming up next. Let me know if you have any suggestions or feedback. Assembling the Intrepid. As the mission took shape, the eyes of the world turned to the brave few who would embark on this historic voyage. Thousands of candidates were rigorously screened, their physical, mental, and emotional resilience pushed to the limits. In the end, a crew of 12 was selected, each bringing unique skills and perspectives to the endeavor. Commander Niko Petrov, a seasoned Russian cosmonaut, would lead the mission. His calm demeanor and quick thinking had saved lives on the ISS, earning him the respect of his peers and the trust of the global community. Dr. Mailin Shen, a brilliant Chinese chenobiologist, hoped to be the first to study extraterrestrial life up close. Her groundbreaking research on extremophiles had reshaped the search for life beyond Earth. Kwame Okafor, a gifted Nigerian engineer, had pioneered the advanced propulsion systems that would carry the ship to its distant destination. His infectious optimism and problem-solving skills were legendary within the aerospace community. Rounding out the crew were specialists from Brazil, Japan, India, and a dozen other nations, each chosen for their expertise and their ability to work seamlessly as a team. They trained relentlessly, honing their skills in cutting-edge simulations and bonding over shared meals and late-night debates about the challenges ahead. As the launch date approached, the ship underwent final preparations. Christened the Intrepid, it was a marvel of human engineering. Sleek and efficient, it boasted state-of-the-art life support systems, advanced communication arrays, and a revolutionary FTL drive reverse-engineered from the alien beacon's transmissions. The night before liftoff, the crew gathered for a final meal on Earth. They spoke of their hopes and fears, their families, and their dreams for the future. United by a common purpose, they knew that the success of their mission could change the course of history. As dawn broke over the launch site, massive crowds gathered to witness the event. Millions more watched live feeds, their hearts swelling with pride and trepidation. In a world often divided by conflict and strife, the Intrepid represented the best of humanity. The courage to explore, the compassion to help, and the yearning to reach beyond the confines of a single planet. Strapped into their acceleration couches, the crew felt the weight of this moment. They were not just explorers, but emissaries, carrying the goodwill and curiosity of an entire species into the unknown. As the countdown reached 0, the Intrepid's engines roared to life. The ship leaped from the launch pad, riding a pillar of flame towards the heavens. Cheers erupted across the globe as humanity took its first steps into a larger cosmos. Aboard the ship, the crew marveled at the sight of Earth receding behind them, a blue marble suspended in the infinite blackness. They knew that the real journey was just beginning, and that the trials ahead would test them in ways they could only imagine. But as they gazed out at the stars, each felt a profound sense of purpose. They were part of something greater than themselves, a mission that could reshape the destiny of their species. And armed with the best that humanity had to offer, ingenuity, resilience, and an unshakable determination, they knew that whatever awaited them in the depths of space, they would face it together. Part 4 is coming up. Let me know if you have any thoughts or suggestions. Into the Void. As the Intrepid ventured deeper into uncharted space, the crew settled into the routines of shipboard life. They monitored the ship's systems, conducted experiments, and marveled at the wonders of the cosmos unfolding before them. But even as they fell into a rhythm, the vastness of their surroundings began to take its toll. The stars, once comforting beacons of light, now seemed cold and distant. The isolation of the void pressed in on them, a constant reminder of how far they were from home. Commander Petrov noticed the change in his crew's morale. He organized game nights and storytelling sessions, anything to keep spirits high. But as the weeks stretched on with no sign of their destination, even his unwavering optimism began to fray. Matters came to a head when the ship's long-range sensors picked up an anomaly. A massive energy signature, unlike anything they'd encountered, was moving towards them at incredible speed. Quain raced to the engine room, desperately trying to coax more power from the Intrepid's straining reactor. Dr. Shen pored over the data, searching for any clue as to the nature of the approaching phenomenon. As the anomaly grew closer, the ship began to shudder, caught in the grip of some unseen force. Alarms blared as systems flickered and failed, plunging the crew into darkness. In that moment, as they faced an unknown threat light years from home, the crew's training kicked in. They worked seamlessly, each member focused on their task, trusting in their crewmates to do the same. Quain coaxed the engines back to life, giving Petrov the power he needed to steer the ship to safety. Malin analyzed the data, realizing that the anomaly was not a threat, but a naturally occurring wormhole, a potential shortcut to their destination. As the crew gathered on the bridge, the wormhole loomed before them, a swirling maelstrom of light and energy. They knew that entering it was a risk, but one they had to take. With a shared nod, Petrov guided the Intrepid into the heart of the vortex. The ship shuddered and groaned as it was pulled into the wormhole's embrace. Colors and shapes defying description danced across the view screens, the very fabric of space-time twisting around them. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. The Intrepid emerged on the other side of the wormhole, battered but intact. And there, hanging in the void before them, was a sight that stole their breath. A massive alien ship, easily dwarfing the Intrepid, hung motionless against the backdrop of a dying star. Its hull was pitted and scarred, evidence of some ancient battle. But even in its damaged state, it radiated a sense of power and purpose. As the crew stared in awe, a realization dawned. This was the source of the beacon, the origin of the message that had brought them across the galaxy. And whatever awaited them within its battered hull would test not just their skills, but their very understanding of the universe. Commander Petrov broke the silence, his voice steady. "We came here to help, and that's what we're going to do. Suit up, everyone. It's time to meet our new friends." As the crew prepared to board the alien vessel, a sense of nervous anticipation filled the air. They had trained for this moment, but nothing could fully prepare them for what lay ahead. Yet as they looked to each other, seeing the determination in their crewmates' eyes, they knew that whatever challenges they faced, they would face them together. Part 5 is on the way. Let me know if you have any feedback or ideas, echoes of the past. As the Intrepid docked with the alien vessel, an eerie silence enveloped the crew. The massive ship loomed before them, a behemoth of unknown origin and purpose. Airlock doors opened with a hiss, revealing a cavernous hangar bay bathed in an otherworldly glow. Commander Petrov led the way, flanked by Quain and Dr. Shen. Their footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, the only sound in a ship that seemed devoid of life. The architecture was alien yet strangely familiar, as if the builders had followed the same universal principles of design. As they ventured deeper into the ship, they discovered vast chambers filled with advanced technology beyond their wildest dreams. But amidst the wonders, there were signs of decay: corroded bulkheads, flickering lights, and an air of neglect that hung heavy in the recycled atmosphere. It was Mylan who found them first. In a cavernous room that could only be the ship's bridge, dozens of alien forms lay slumped over consoles and sprawled across the floor. Their bodies were withered and desiccated, as if they had been drained of life itself. Mylan's scans revealed the truth. The aliens weren't dead, but in a state of deep hibernation. Their metabolic functions slowed to a crawl, but their life signs were fading fast, their bodies shutting down one by one. The crew faced a moral dilemma. The aliens had reached out for help, but the nature of their distress was still unknown. Waking them could be dangerous, not just for the Intrepid's crew, but potentially for all of humanity. As they debated their course of action, Quaim made a startling discovery. The ship's power core was failing, its ancient reactor on the verge of collapse. If it failed, the alien vessel would be lost, along with any hope of unraveling the mysteries it contained. In that moment, Commander Petrov made a decision. They had come this far to help, and that was what they were going to do. With Quaim's guidance, they began the delicate process of stabilizing the ship's systems, nursing the reactor back to life. As power surged through the alien vessel, something remarkable happened. The hibernation pods began to open, one by one. Slender, ethereal figures emerged, their large, luminous eyes blinking in the sudden light. The crew held their breath, unsure of how the aliens would react. But as the first of the beings approached, it raised a long-fingered hand in a universal gesture of peace. "Thank you," it said, its voice a melodic whisper. "You have saved us from an eternal slumber." Over the next hours, a story unfolded. The aliens were the last survivors of a once great civilization, driven to the brink of extinction by a cosmic catastrophe. They had placed themselves in stasis, hoping that one day someone would find them and help them rebuild. As the crew listened, they marveled at the aliens' resilience and ingenuity. Even in the face of unimaginable adversity, they had found a way to survive, to reach out across the stars in the hope of finding kinship. And in that moment, the crew of the Intrepid knew that they had made the right choice. By extending a helping hand, they had not only saved a species, but forged a bond that could reshape the future of both their civilizations. As the alien ship came back to life around them, powered by a fusion of human and alien ingenuity, the crew felt a sense of awe and purpose. They had set out to help, but in doing so, they had discovered something far greater: the power of compassion to bridge any divide, and the limitless potential that awaited when two species worked together in the spirit of friendship and understanding. A new dawn. As the Intrepid and the alien ship, now christened the Concordia, embarked on their return journey, a sense of profound change settled over the crew. They had set out as explorers, but they were returning as something more: ambassadors of a new era of interstellar cooperation. In the weeks that followed, the aliens shared their knowledge freely, teaching the humans about their advanced technologies and the wisdom gleaned from millennia of civilization. In turn, the crew shared their own experiences, their art, and their dreams for the future. Quaim and the alien engineers worked tirelessly to repair the Concordia, blending human ingenuity with alien craftsmanship. Dr. Shen and her counterparts pored over biological data, marveling at the similarities and differences between their species. And Commander Petrov found himself in long conversations with the alien leader, a being of immense wisdom and compassion. They spoke of the challenges of leadership, the importance of unity, and the responsibility of those with power to use it for the greater good. As Earth grew closer, anticipation mixed with trepidation. How would humanity react to the news of the alien presence? Would fear and mistrust overshadow the potential for progress? But when the ships finally entered Earth's orbit, They were greeted not with hostility, but with wonder and celebration. In the face of the unknown, humanity had chosen to embrace the possibility of friendship. In the days that followed, a flurry of activity swept the planet. World leaders met with the alien delegates, forging treaties and agreements that would shape the course of both civilizations. Scientists and scholars exchanged ideas, the boundaries of knowledge expanding at a breathtaking pace. And through it all, the crew of the Intrepid stood at the center, a symbol of what could be achieved when differences were set aside in the pursuit of a common goal. They had risked everything to answer a call for help, and in doing so, they had changed the course of history. As the aliens prepared to depart, now equipped with the knowledge and resources to rebuild their civilization, they left a parting gift. A small crystalline device, etched with the symbols of both their worlds. A beacon of friendship, a reminder of the bond they had forged. In a ceremony broadcast across the globe, Commander Petrov accepted the gift on behalf of all humanity. As he held it aloft, the crystal pulsed with a gentle light, a symbol of the bright future that awaited. "Today," he said, his voice ringing with emotion, "we stand on the threshold of a new era. An era of exploration, of discovery, of unity. An era in which we reach out not in fear, but in friendship, ready to embrace the wonders of the universe." As the alien ship lifted off, the crew of the Intrepid watched with tears in their eyes. They had started this journey as a disparate group, each with their own fears and doubts, but they had returned as a family, bonded by an experience that would forever shape their lives. And as they looked to the stars, now alive with the promise of new frontiers, they knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger cosmos, and the path ahead was bright with possibility. For they had learned the most important lesson of all, that in the vastness of the universe, it is compassion, courage, and unity that light the way. And with those qualities as their guide, there was no limit to what they could achieve. As the Concordia disappeared into the heavens, the crystal beacon pulsed one final time, a promise of a future shaped by the best of both worlds. And on Earth, a new chapter began, one written not in the language of fear, but in the language of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit of two species who had reached across the stars and found in each other the strength to build a better tomorrow. The end.